So this is the Trek Rail 9.7. It's a 2024, and it's my first e-bike, first one I've ever ridden. I bought it without really riding it, and honestly my opinion has changed a lot over the time that I've had it. I think initially I was super excited for it, not really knowing what to expect, and as soon as I got it, took it out for my first ride, I was completely blown away by just how easy it is to climb and fly around the trails. I actually find this bike is way faster on the downhills than my regular trail bike. Now, after the first few rides, I was kind of lukewarm about the bike for quite a long time. Part of the fun of the riding is the physical exertion. It's also the challenge of the terrain and getting through tough stuff. That was just a helicopter going by, and thankfully there was nobody in the basket. But as I was saying, the first couple of rides with this bike were tons of fun, but I kind of developed I don't want to say that I didn't like it. It just didn't feel right. It was a little sluggish, hard to move around. It was fast on the descents, and it was fun to climb with, but it just felt like something was missing. Maybe the challenge wasn't there because the climbs were easy. And you know what, if I'm going to be honest with you, I think it took me a long time to get used to the weight of the bike and the feel of the bike. It took a long time to gain the confidence that I had riding my regular trail bike, riding this thing. And again, I think it's the weight and just the general feel of this bike compared to my regular trail bike. So I found that I almost regretted my decision getting this thing. But now, after riding it for a few months, I bought it at the beginning of this summer, and you know, now we're in September. I've started falling in love with what this thing does. It just flies up the hills, and once you get used to the weight, you get used to throwing it around. I find I can jump higher and further with this bike. I find that I can slalom between trees nearly as good as I can on my regular trail bike. I think the real issue was just getting used to it and accepting that this bike has a different feel and a different goal to it. It does just different things. So let's talk about the things that it does different than a trail bike. Now, one of the main things it does different is it'll get you out riding on a day that you normally wouldn't go riding. So today is the day before I'm going on a pretty decent sized day hike. I'm gonna wanna have full strength and power on my legs for tomorrow. And if I had to go climb 500 or 600 meters on my regular trail bike, I might not be 100% fresh. On this thing though, I can head out, enjoy this day, and tomorrow I'll be still feeling great. Other days I like riding this thing are if I've already ridden a couple of times a week and my legs are tired, I've gone hiking or backpacking, and I'm just not in the mood to really suffer. Bringing this thing out is a ton of fun. You get a chance to still get outside, enjoy the day, you get a little exercise, not the same amount that you would on the regular trail bike, but it still kind of gasses you. Maybe a little different way of gassing you, but you'll feel it. It might be hard to tell in the video, but this is typically a pretty tough climb on a regular bike. You'll be bent over, grunting like crazy, just turning the cranks. You probably want to take that side turn, save a little bit of effort. With the e-bike, especially in eMTB plus mode, you just fly up the stuff. Now, another fun feature about this bike, or I guess I should say e-bikes in general, is that they're really good at discovering new places and exploration. You know, sometimes it's a little bit of a tough commitment to do a big climb in a place you've never been before, and you got to pick the right trail to go down, and if you do it wrong or you go the wrong direction, it won't be as much fun. But with the e-bike, there's almost no consequence. You go the wrong way, no big deal, you can turn around, climb it again. I went to ride the trails in Blairmore. I've not ridden there before. Oh, here comes the helicopter again. I hope that helicopter is just doing exercises and not trying to find a missing hiker. Anyhow, I went and took this bike to Blairmore, where I've never ridden before, and I was able to ride pretty much every inch of trail they had there. And the cool thing is, you can put on 30, 40 kilometers on this bike and still have enough gas in the tank that you can ride the next day and the day after. So I think exploration, riding new trails, and doing longer rides than you would normally do is really the point of an e-bike. Getting lost out in the mountains, heading down some trails you've never seen, going out on an epic 40, 50, 60K ride. That's the objective of this bike. So people will talk a lot of trash about how e-bikes are no exercise, but I've been climbing for 12, 13 minutes, and I've got a really good VO2 max. My VO2 max is 47, which is pretty good for my age. It's in the excellent category, and my heart rate right now on this ride is 150 beats per minute. So you're still getting cardio, and when you're descending, you're still getting a leg workout. It's just not crippling. And in this 15 minutes or so that I've been riding, I've covered somewhere in the neighborhood of 30, 35 minutes of trail that it would have taken me on my regular bike. So you just get to do more, see more, ride more. And I find that this summer, my riding has progressed quite a bit just because of the amount of miles I've been able to cover riding on this e-bike as a supplementary. So more miles per ride on the e-bike and more rides per week, because when I'm tired, I still have an option to get out there. So funny enough, from the parking lot at West Bragg to the top of Ranger Summit, it's taken me less than 15 minutes. How's it going, guys? Normally, to get to the top of Ranger Summit, you're looking at half an hour if you're in pretty good shape, if not longer. Now I'm going to stop riding a little bit later into this session and go over the bike in a couple of details, show you some things I really like and some things I like less. But just off the bat, the biggest issue that I have with this stock bike is the suspension and the tire choice. This is the 9.7, it's the second from the top, and it comes with a RockShox Domain, which is an okay fork, but in my opinion, for the price, it should have come with a Zeb. And the tires, these Bontrager tires are just, they're not as good as a Maxxis DHR DHF combo, which is much more confidence inspiring. Not a bad scene for a review. Trek Rail 9.7 2024. These RockShox Domains leave a little bit to be desired in terms of the small bump compliance and repeated hits. The brain of the unit is kind of where you get all your information. They allow you to have 4 power modes and off. I currently have Turbo, eMTB Plus, eMTB, and Touring Plus. The dropper post, I believe, is 150 millimeters. Not great, not the worst. I do enjoy these SLX brakes. They have plenty of bite. Nice size rotors in the front and the rear. Pardon how dirty it is. One of the more frustrating things about this bike is that the Gen 4 motor rattles when you go over bumps. No matter how tight the chain is, you will get a rattle in that motor.